The well-known detective known as Lawliets has been able to solve any case that has been in his way with ease, no problem at all. But there is one case that the famous detective has not been able to solve, mentioned in the second volume of the Deathnote manga, the Los Angeles BB murder case, narrated by Mello to prove to him that he is superior than Nier, that he knows something that Nier does not. L basically told Mello about the Beyond Birthday murder case that he has never mentioned, but that slight glimpse in the Deathnote volume manga 2 when he talks about Naomi Masura and how she, well, insert spoiler, but I'm not going to do that. It's basically the murder cases that the murderer B has done. So basically you can tell from the letter B that he's going to be somehow related to L in a way, since he won't reveal his name. His name is Beyond Birthday. That has been known in the book from the very start. So basically this book has a whole premise to it that I definitely do like the way it came from. The whole narrative style, to the whole details, to the whole use of Japanese culture, to the references the book has made. I really do like the Sherlock references they made, the whole detective references the book has made. Everything that the book has done, I think has done right. In my opinion, there are some flaws with the book, of course. There are some things like overwhelming detail or too much detail if you can't really comprehend it. But other than that, the book has its really interesting points. The plot twist at the end, if you didn't really expect it just like I did, it definitely just gives you a whole thrill ride. Ladies and gentlemen and folks, we will be reviewing Deathnote, Another Note, the Los Angeles BB murder case. The victims are the very important factor of this book, and also the clues that lead into the next murder, the date, the location, the person. And the victims are very important because they could lead to the next killer, or in some cases in this book, they'll also lead to the next address to where the murder is going to be held. So the three victims are Believed Bridesman, Quarter Queen, and Backyard Bomb Sash. Let's start off how B did this. So basically B sent a crossword puzzle to the Los Angeles Department of Police at July 22nd. You need to remember all the dates because all the dates could really lead to really important clues, because this book does not spare in detail with the dates, with the people, with their names, with how they look, hell, even how they're positioned and what they're made into when you dismember them, what they would be makes them into. So let's start with the first victim. Believed Bridesman, age 44, day of murder July 31st. It is approximately, I believe, if I do my math correctly, 9 days after he sent the first clue. So that's your first number you need to remember, 9. And basically he was murdered obviously through stabbings and everything, and they put Roman numbers in his body, so they scarred him with Roman numbers, and that already tells you. And he also was a big manga reader, which is also a reference to Japan, of course. So basically they were looking through all the mangas and some of them were missing, so then they had to link both of them together, which is just, if you see it, if you read how much linking and how much everything they have to do, Believed Bridesman, and then eventually that led to the second murderer, the second victim, my apologies, Quarter Queen, age 13. So that just proves he does not care about the age of the victim. August 4th, also 9 days. I can't really precisely remember, but these are significantly the same days. So they're getting murdered a week later, all of them getting murdered at the same time. So basically what she did, since her name is Quarter Queen, their assumption was going for the letter B, since his favorite letter is B and his favorite number is 13, so which is why he probably murdered her. And basically what he did was he basically used her glasses. She was never wearing glasses and she was found with glasses on. But then she was never owned a pair of glasses, because from all her photos they managed to find. But then however they did something with the glasses and the contact lenses, and then they managed to figure out, eventually through a lot of deductive skills, where the third murder would be is Backyard Bottom Sash, a male, age 26, day of murder, August 13th. And basically this is the very important one, because this took the longest and was really the hardest one. And basically what they used for every time they would Beyond Birthday would murder somebody, they would put a Wara ni Go, which is basically a Japanese doll, to basically say that he marked his spot, and then Ryuzaki or L or Namusura would be able to solve it and find out. So the reason this is overall just how much detail and how much clues they put into the book. how much like a lot of like discussion they're doing about how much they're talking, how about you find about L. And one of the really important facts that I definitely did like about this book is just the backstory they also gave. Since it's the prequel, they definitely did talk about before Kid Case and how Elle was basically raised in the Whammy house, and how about how Mello and Nier, how everyone was talking about how they were raised, how B was also involved. Here, I'll tell you a little backstory that definitely did surprise me. Okay, so Watari Quillish Whammy was the owner of Whammy's house, obviously since that's for his last name. He's basically a well-renowned person in the world. He's really rich. He managed to make Whammy house. He basically managed to raise L and everybody by giving him the highest level of institution possible, as said in the very first few pages. L was never taught from a school. He was taught from professors and scientists and everything, so he's really gifted in terms of knowledge and everything. But then Watari knew L's capabilities and tried to make another one. This is where Mello and Nier came in. They were supposed to be L's successor, and Nier in the second half of the Deathnote manga, or if you're watching the anime, the second half, which is above episode 20, I believe, I cannot remember when, but the second half of Deathnote, Nier became L's successor, not Mello, sadly. But B was supposed to be L's successor. But there's also an interesting character that I wish I heard about. His name is A. Yeah, his name is A. The letter A, the very first in the alphabet. He was supposed to become, but then due to the pressure, he committed suicide. And B saw this and he was like, he doesn't want to be L. He wants to be somebody more. He wanted to surpass him. So in order to do that, he basically decided to go become a villain to show L that he is very much superior than him. And then I do not know why he had to commit such sinful acts, but then that's how he showed it, and basically showing how much smarter he was by doing all these acts and being there in the scene. And how Naomi Musora reacts is because basically this is a battle versus L versus B, and Naomi Musora is in the middle of the battle. And basically I wanted to share some information. Let's move on, let's talk about that in a second. The information, the original concept was by Sugumi Obaha and Takeshi Obata. The page of the book was 187 and it's a prequel to Deathnote manga, so it talks about a few years before the whole Kira investigation happened, before L was dealing with life, before the Deathnote was on the plan. Now there's something interesting about B though I wanted to mention, is that B has the Shinigami eyes. Now if you don't know what the Shinigami eyes is, Shinigami means death god, and basically he has a death god eye, so basically he's able to see when people will die and he kills the people. All the three victims were going to die eventually, but B decided to kill him and get it over with. Now we do not know how B got his Shinigami eyes. People in the book, like the L and everybody else, would assume that Mello, not L, I must apologize, L didn't know the Shinigami eyes existed. Mello will say that a Shinigami dropped his eyes. Now that's pretty weird, I don't know why, but then people say he was born with the Shinigami eyes, so B wasn't really human. We could say he was a death god. He was one of the very first few death gods to be in the book, but that was really interesting about B, how you could see everybody's death but except for his own, and he just wanted to like defeat L no matter what. But he knew what L looked like and everything, but then he just didn't have a death note. He just had the eyes. At that time the death note did not exist. But overall, let me just wrap up this review. I must apologize for having a time here for such a long time. This book is really just a good read. I know I keep saying, because I always look at the good side of the book. The book has so much detail that if you don't like detail, if you're gonna get really confused. That is the only horrible part about this book. You're gonna get really confused, but that's also the good part, because you could also like read it again if you're really interested. It's a really good book with tons and tons of details. I'm most likely missing a lot of parts about this book that the reader of the book already know I'm missing a lot of parts, but it's just a little summary, little reviews of the book. So I'd give this book a recommendation to buy it. If I were to say L's Change the World or Deathnote Another Note, the Los Angeles BB Murder Case, it'd be this book, the BB Murder Case book. You just pick this book up before you pick up L's Change the World, because this is actually a prequel. L's Change the World is a whole different look. It's basically an alter to the manga and the anime due to like people complaining about the ending of the manga. They made the L's Change the World as a way to sort of fix up the ending in a way, sort of like an OVA for a book. But this book is just stone cold hard facts. It's really good. It's actually my first detective novel ever. If you read detective novels and want to get started, this book is just a fantastic pickup. The price for the book will be on screen. Everything, I'll be sure to link below where you can purchase the book from Amazon, whatever. It's like $15. $6 for UK, and I believe same for US is $15. Wherever, be sure to pick up this book. Well, ladies and gentlemen and others, sorry for like not uploading a lot lately. I've been really busy now my exams are over. So, ladies, gentlemen, and folks, I will see you guys later. Deuces.